We will have the mayors draw one or two out of a container, and they'll sit in either one or two chairs wherever they are. We'll do the same thing with the council. Council will draw names, and then when they sit down, they'll put their name tag in front of where they're seated. We will be doing that here just shortly. The idea is, as we go through this evening, we're going to be going from left to right and then right to left. So there'll be a question. That question will be about 2 minutes in length for a response, and we'll just go right down the line. Okay? So we'll go ahead and get started now with the drawings, if we could, please, Brad.
I can go ahead here.
And we'll pick the two individuals that are in the mayor's race. We'll be doing the mayor's race this evening before the council.
Thank you.
We don't know where the light is.
You both have your name tags, and just put your name tags up, and now we'll do the same thing with the council. And then we'll get this started with a proper introduction.
Oh.
There you go.
Right up on the edge. Yes. Turn it up. This one here, is it loud, Beth? Scott? A little bit more. Somebody's up sure up in the sound booth, and there we go. Okay. Yeah, we got it. Put your name tags right up on the edge, if you would, please. Thank you. Now we're going to thank you all for coming out. Just a couple of housekeeping issues. If you need to use the restroom, you're probably going to have to go down the hallway and move the gate just a little bit to be able to get to the restroom. The reason the gate is there is to have volleyball this evening, and they want the paying customers to be on that side of the gate and the non-paying on this side of the gate. So you'll have to go through the gate on the right-hand side of the hallway to be able to access the restroom. Now we'd like to turn this over to Rob to give us the proper introductions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Osborne. I am the proud president of the Buhl Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Chamber, I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to your meet and greet your city candidates. Let's see, so it's great to see everybody here to support the people that are going to serve our great city here. So I'd like to extend a special thank you to Brad Rickey, and he's our county commissioner, and then Brad Willis, who's our county assessor. So for helping make this event possible. So we appreciate the support that you guys give the Buhl community and to all the public service that you guys do. So anyway, so before I begin, I'd like to invite everybody to please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Right over here's the flag.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. And now I'd like to turn it over to Brent.
I'd like to kind of explain what we've given the candidates this evening. So they have all received these questions. And we will be going down through the questions 1 through 5 at 2 minutes for each candidate. Question number 6 is their opportunity to wrap up. When these questions are asked, we're going to be going, as I mentioned earlier, from left to right. Second question, right to left. And we'll do the same. We'll start with the mayors in that particular sense as well, so we're consistent throughout the evening. The reason we're structured this like this is going to take about 2 hours in the way we're doing this, the way we have this laid out. So we thought it would be, we want to try to be as respectful and as efficient as we can. So the instructions that we've given each one of these candidates, there's 8 of them, and I'd like to share those as well. You will be seated in a random drawing. First questions will run left to right, second question right to left. Number 1. Number 2, refrain from speaking except during your turn. 3, address all responses to the public, not to another candidate. 4, do not respond to or address another candidate's response. 5, keep your responses to 2 minutes. A 30-second sign will be up so they see when they have 30 seconds left. Number 6, limit your campaign signs to the outside of the auditorium here or outside the school. Number 7, feel free to linger and mingle with those guests in the room that would might want to ask you questions or get some additional clarity. Number 8, share your contact information with the public. So we're going to be walking down through these and doing this. What I would ask of you, if we could get the 2 mayor candidates done, and then a round of applause. Then we'll do the 6th council and a round of applause. Please use the same rules that we've asked of the candidates for yourself. I know there's been a lot of social media activity here on the West End, and we want to make sure that everybody's treated with as much respect and dignity as we possibly can. And so we're looking to get the questions that we have here that we'll be sharing with them and with you a real clear understanding so we can get to know that person a little bit better this evening. Brad, would you like to take the next step, please?
Okay, so unfortunately, clock only looks one way, so you guys won't be able to see the clock. They will, but you won't. So I'll hit the start button when they start, and then at 30 seconds, I'll give them a little bit of a warning, and we ask that you respect it when it's done. You know, be prepared to finish your point, and for us to get done in 2 hours with the number of questions, we'll probably need it all. So that's all I ask, and same with the crowd. Back to you.
Sounds good. So we're going to begin with the mayor's question first. Again, left to right, right to left. And I will read the first question, and then Brad will read the second question, and we'll kind of go through that. So Brad's going to have double duties of running the clock, but I thought it would be helpful to have 2 of us involved in that. Why are you running for, can you get it?
So this is mine.
You're on the left. So
Oh, I'm on your left.
Is this working?
First question is, why are you running for mayor, and what specific skills or experiences do you have that would make you an effective mayor for the city of Buhl?
Thank you for that question. So the true work of a mayor lies in addressing the tangible needs of its citizens, the community, such as trash pickup, clean water, sewer, streets, and public safety, to name a few. It's a demanding role, and 16 years on the council, I really wasn't quite prepared for it at first, but and it's been a rough 4 years, but I can do it. I have found out I can do it, and I contend it's tough because of the limited resources we face, and Buhl is currently in one of the best financial positions it has been in for years. And that's because we've had a strong treasurer, a strong council that understands the budget, and we have department heads that understand their budgets and stay within their budgets every month, because every week we're going over it in a department head meeting. Finally, there are several unfinished projects in Buhl, and I would really like to see them finished, one of which is Burley Avenue, which a lot of people have been talking about for several years now. It started before COVID, and I'm proud to announce it's going to bid this fall, and it will be worked on next spring. So the pool was a big issue in Buhl, so we've already started working on the pool, and I'm trying to get a downtown splash pad. Sorry, I get distracted, with grant money. So I own a business, I work in the business, and I know all about HR, payroll, and running employees. And I could talk all night if they would just leave this in my hand.
So she had 2 seconds left, so she did well. Stop. Sit. Okay, do you need me to repeat the question? No. Okay,
All right, thank you. My name is Doug Howarth, and I'm running for mayor. I believe it is time to start addressing issues and make a dedicated effort to fix them. This town deserves a leadership with willingness to listen and to get involved, not just good intentions. As a committed resident for nearly a decade, I am ready to bring my real-world skills from the job site straight to City Hall. My experience as a construction project manager means I know how to manage large-scale finances, scrutinize public contracts, and ensure our city's public works projects are delivered on time and under budget. My time as a superintendent with underground utilities gives me a crucial operational knowledge about our aging infrastructure. I understand that the larger scale projects are all handled by subcontractors. The city does not actually take on those big challenges. With my knowledge as how all these work, I'm able to see that the contractors are not taking the city for a ride. Make sure we bid everything and we get the best possible work for the best possible price. I will be able to identify inefficiencies and cost overruns before they become a problem. I also have background in the United States Air Force law enforcement. Public safety will be my top executive priority. Ensuring high levels of training while holding our officers accountable for their actions, as well as residents accountable for theirs. Fostering integrity in all of our city departments. I have the budget discipline, operational expertise, and the focus on integrity needed to lead the city, and I'm ready to get to work.
Great. Hang on to the microphone. He gets the first microphone. We'll get this figured out. Okay. Let's go to the second question, if you could, and you lead off with this question. And then if number two or number one needs to respond, we can. Can you share an example of a time when you considered all sides of an issue and the differing opinions thereof? Different groups, let me read that one more time. Can you share an example of a time when you considered all sides of an issue and the differing opinions of a group before making a decision?
All right, thank you. This question is my daily life. Running the construction of building, commercial, residential. I have the accounting, the budget departments. With this idea, I have the buyer. With this idea, I have different cities, towns with this, and taking all of their ideas into focus to create an answer and a solution that will fix, or at least try to help in all those departments. Specific example, best one I can think of, we was building a subdivision and the plan showed a small sewer line coming into it. The subdivision was 3 phases. It was like, why are we making 3 city connections when we could make a single connection with a larger sewer line? I had to listen to all of the sides on it. Most of it was cost. We decided to go with a larger main, and at the end of the project, it turned out to be a better for the whole town and the subdivision due to 1 connection to the city sewer instead of 3 or 4. That is a hard question because it's so routine every day.
So in Buhl's form of the mayor-council government, I have only had to vote to break a tie a couple of times in the last 4 years, one of which was a P&Z, a planning and zoning issue that had come to the city council. They always come to the city council after the P&Z has passed them. And there was a split vote, so I needed to break that tie. And what you've got to make sure is the documentation that you're getting before the city council meeting. So we receive that on Thursdays normally. And we have several days to go over that information, ask any questions we have on that information before the meeting. So the mayor also has to stay up to date on what the council's hearing, get the facts, get the details, in case you have to break a tie vote. So you listen to both sides and the applicant in this case, and the council wasn't all in favor of the applicant's request. So I had to break that tie because you have to make that informed decision. As with Mr. Howarth, I do that day to day in my regular job also because I run a department for the state of Idaho at my accounting firm. So I have a lot of employees, and whether it be disagreements amongst those employees, or I'm just going to close this in that information is power. So the more information and the more data I can receive on a subject, the more comfortable I feel making a decision.
So I have a question for the whole panel. This seems to interrupt, so unless we're bad, I'm going to rely on the clock and not do this to you, because I think it breaks your concentration, so if that's okay. Yeah. Okay, question number 3. You just kind of referred to this, but how do you handle disagreements?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, so this question is to Pam.
Sorry, thanks for paying attention.
How would you handle disagreements with council members or members of the public?
Okay, good question. It's been well publicized on occasion over the last 4 years, and quite frankly, I had served 22 years as an elected official and never seen or expected the last 4 years. And, you know, I'm sincerely apologetic that it seems to have divided the community to a degree on social media, and there's been a lot of misinformation out there. So I hope that you'll understand that to handle these disagreements among council members specifically, a mayor primarily uses their role as the presiding officer at these meetings to promote respectful discussion and guide the meetings and facilitate the solutions. The mayor should not interfere with the city council's legislative process because they're the legislators of the city. And though the mayor serves as the presiding officer, it is the city council as a body that polices its own. Because they're elected officials, right? They've been elected by the community. I don't normally have citizens reach out to me unless they are upset about a particular issue, and that's happened more lately than in the previous 3 years. But I really, I tried to educate people on social media, and that didn't work. There is a mayor phone number that I will share later, and I take those calls, and I will call people back as long as I really like it when they give me their name. They also email me, and it's usually an email and no name. But I really like to sit down. I'm old-fashioned. I really like to sit down and talk to people about issues.
Do you need me to read the question, or do you have it?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
So I actually welcome disagreement. It is the best sign that our council members and the public are comfortable and free to speak their views. And the key to handling that, it becomes turning that conflict into progress. Simple method is make sure everyone feels truly heard and respected. Then instead of arguing over what people want, we focus on why they want it. There's always an underlying method, an underlying reason why people feel strongly about a certain situation. By understanding everyone's real goals, then we can take the best parts of all them different ideas and build a single, smarter solution that works for, ideally, the whole community. As Mayor stated, Mayor doesn't have, the City Council is the governing body of Buhl. I believe the Mayor should take the leadership responsibility for the role that the public sees. Because, and I'm sure she can well attest, any time anything goes wrong, that's where it comes to. So you got to embrace that and do what you can do to make it right and to the best of your ability.
Question number 5. Or actually, question number 4 here, I believe, is number 4. What local priorities do you have in mind for the city of Buhl?
The priorities that I have for, first of all, we address the elephant in the room. There's a lot of priorities that are underlying city infrastructure, our roads, our sidewalks, but the ones that are on the tip of everybody's tongue. We need to improve our neighborhood quality of life and resolving frustrating policy issues. You know, it's fun and community investment. I'm focused on making sure our community pool is open, not just next summer, but every summer. It's something we need to work on 365 days a year to make sure that we have management ready to go. We have lifeguards ready to go. If that includes extending the pool hours, as long as we can possibly get it so that people who are working there will get hours, let's do that. Open it as soon as we possibly can and close it at the latest possible date. We'll also toy with the idea of covering it. That opens up a new thing of lifeguards after school starts. So maybe we can hire lifeguards that also can work in another city department, the library, city hall, another city department. I'm also heavily invested in looking into and getting a splash pad installed at our city park by using grant money and private donations and not public funds. Twin Falls has the ICCU, or not Twin Falls, Pocatello has ICCU splash pad. Twin Falls has First Federal. I believe that in a conversation I had with ICCU that they are willing and have the money to do the same thing for Buhl as a partial investment. We would probably have to get more than just one.
So I have 2 minutes, but my priorities revolve around promoting our residents' well-being through the key areas like public health, infrastructure, housing. We have a real housing shortage in Buhl. I already said public health, but public safety. We don't have enough officers in Buhl. I am constantly hearing about the different thoroughfares in Buhl, and I've been sitting with the officers on these thoroughfares, and the citizens are exactly right. So we need to come up with a plan. We have priorities right now and have since we built the wastewater and water treatment facilities with the EPA and the DEQ rules. These aren't rules that we make up for the citizens of Buhl. We have the government telling us what to do, and the next thing on the horizon is getting phosphorus out of our wastewater and our water. That takes a lot of money. So I oversee local government operations, making sure that the laws put in place by our current and past city councils are enforced. I manage public services and I represent the community in civic matters. I also communicate with our county and state officials. If something's coming down the pike, especially in Boise, that's relevant to Buhl, they always receive an email. I don't get very many responses, but I always make sure that Buhl's being heard, especially in reference, the last time was with regard to our library. I also communicate with a lot of citizens.
Okay, thank you. That was question 4. This is question 5. Is how do you plan on communicating with the citizens of Buhl?
Thank you. So this has taken a lot of thought since we lost our beloved Buhl Herald and Sandra Weiscaber. I truly miss her. We used to have the Times News at every city council meeting, and there would be a blurb in their paper also. This was before social media, of course. So I've held public forums, and some of you in the audience have been at them at Popplewell. And then I had one at City Hall this spring. So the citizens can be involved in voicing their opinions. Last fall it was the county commissioners. In the spring it was our legislators that represent us in Boise. It's very difficult to get the information out there that they're going to be in attendance and that you're more than welcome to come. The other part that's really bothering me after conversations over the months is how we get information out to our senior population. I've met several that don't have the internet, they don't text. They're certainly not on social media, so how do we get the information out there to them? Well, working on our website now with the new city clerk, that's not a solution for that population either. So we really do need to work on how to communicate with our citizens as a group so that they know what's going on in the city of Buhl. I believe holding more public forums for participation during the day would help, because there's a lot of people that don't want to drive after dark either. And I've held the forums, except for the one in the spring, in the evening, and I'm glad people have brought that to my attention. We also put little blurbs at the bottom of the city bill. I hope people are reading those, but it's still not enough information. So we need to consider all the citizens in Buhl.
Okay, let me just repeat the question so everybody knows. How do you plan on communicating with the citizens of Buhl?
I would like to see the city have an app. Weiler has one, other cities around us have them. An app can be downloaded to your phone, and it can be used for a lot of different things. Emergencies, water, oil orders. There's numerous uses for an app. Also, this app, I would like to see all of our council meetings being publicly on a platform such as YouTube, and then with a link on the app to the YouTube. So people can go on there and watch it whenever they want. Communication by public meetings, and not the formal city council, just a town hall meeting where we can sit and visit, tell people what's going on. They can tell us what they feel that they would like to see. Just good two-way communication. And as for communicating with our residents that don't have internet, I've been pondering that one for quite a while. the only option there is go to them, which I don't know how to work that one. It's something I've been thinking about. Get them to public meetings. It's our best thought at this moment. Just truthful honesty, talk to people and allow them to talk back. And I do believe using our social media to the advantage of a lot more messages going out. You know, a message from the mayor's office, a message from the city council.
The last question here is, in closing, please take 2 minutes and share any thoughts on things you would like to let the public know about you.
All right, I like to share my core philosophy, and I will bring to the city leadership. As a professional in construction and development, I just don't see the next budget cycle. I see the next 20 years of our city. My philosophy is clear. Long-term stewardship must always take priority over short-term relief. If you elect me, my focus will be on accessibility and transparency. I plan to maintain a true open door policy for any resident with any concern or any idea. Beyond that, we need to modernize how our city communicates. We could, as I mentioned before, a dedicated YouTube channel for all council meetings and a mobile app. That way you can stay informed day or night at your convenience. My commitment also extends directly to our community quality of life and safety, a dedicated open our city swimming pool and a splash pad for our residents to enjoy. In addition, I would like to find alternatives and options for the safety and upkeep of our city sidewalks. I understand that it is now current city policy code to make this the homeowner's responsibility. And not only do we need ADA compliance, but at a recent meeting, we heard firsthand how essential safe access for everyone. For those needing ADA compliant individuals to parents pushing strollers, I will assist and help homeowners to make the necessary repairs within. And with the inevitable growth that will be coming to our city, my knowledge in construction and development will be crucial in making decisions that affect us, the residents. My background as a project superintendent will be built on making tough choices, where the easy answer is not always the correct one. I promise that I will do to my best of my ability of what the residents of Buhl need, and I will listen to those.
Would you like to have the question repeated?
So first of all, I want to thank you all for coming tonight and participate or listening to us. That's very important because it's an important election. Thank you to Commissioner Ranke and Brad Wills and Rob Osborne. And thanks to the Buhl School District for letting us hold it in this awesome facility, asset for the city of Buhl. So I encourage residents of our great little town to support one another and voice their concerns and ideas. We are approachable at City Hall. We really would like more participation at our city council meetings. I was told years ago when I was on the school board, if you don't have anybody in attendance, you know you're doing a good job. Well, that's not always the case. We're elected by you. We need to hear from you and address any situation you may have. Also, I'm fully aware that the area of impact can't vote. I don't make the rules because I heard from a couple of people today, and they thought the mayor does that. I don't make those rules. So I'm putting that out there also. We love to share information and facts. Facts are so important. We'll even go over the budget with you and where we are in that particular point of the year. And we need to clarify the rationale behind the decisions that are made. So we're happy to sit with you. I just cannot emphasize that enough. I would implore you to speak to your city council too. And finally, I want to remind our residents that there are ways to be involved in our community. I have been a volunteer for several years, and there are ways to get involved because we're losing our volunteers. So thank you.
Would you please join us in giving a round of applause, please, for our two candidates? Now, we're going to change things up just a little bit on the council side because it's going to be difficult for you to pass that microphone down because of the cord. So Rob is going to be coming around after each question and passing it down so we can get between the nameplates and all of that. Otherwise, if we had a cordless, it would be really nice, but we don't. Is there enough? Got enough lead there? Okay, good. I would ask the city council candidates, if you would please, we'll ask the first question. Would you please introduce yourselves as we go down on the first? It would be helpful, I think, for the audience to be able to understand who you are. You good?
We're ready.
You're ready? Okay, good deal. First question that we're looking at on the council side, we're going to be going from left to right and then right to left. Why are you running for the city council? And what specific skills or experiences do you have that would make you an effective member of the Buhl City Council?
Okay, well, thank you for the question. My name is Fred Bartlett. I'm running for city council mainly because I love the community. I was born and raised in Buhl. I'm passionate about the youth in Buhl. I've been involved for the last 13 years coaching multiple sports at the youth level, and it's just something I'm proud of. I'm proud to be from Buhl, and I don't really have an agenda. I just would like to help if I can. That was 30 seconds.
My name is Kathy Schofield, and I'm excited to be a candidate for the Buhl City Council because I want to put into action my life experiences and my love for this town. I feel like I have a good reputation as a kind, dependable member of our community. I'm organized, responsible, and able to balance many tasks. But most of all, I care. I do not know everything about city government, but I'm a quick and willing learner. I listen carefully, ask good questions, and I feel like I work well with others to find solutions. One of my favorite phrases is this: because I have been given much, I too must give. My husband Lanny and I have been blessed to call the West End home for 33 years of our 45-year marriage. It truly did take this village of Buhl to help us raise happy, productive children who are now raising families of their own. We even have a family brick at the downtown center, something our grandchildren love to find when they visit. It reminds us that we are part of something special. Because of the goodness we've been shown, I want to give back, to help keep Buhl safe, welcoming, and thriving. I care about fiscal responsibility, supporting families and seniors, and strengthening our sense of unity and hometown pride. I've worked in both the Castleford and Buhl school districts for the late Dr. Knopfziger, and for the past 13 years to present for Dr. Kelsey at Clarity Family Eye Care. We weren't born here, but we got here as quickly as we could. And we have chosen to stay here in the Magic Valley over and over again. I'm thankful we've been able to be here in Buhl and raise our family here.
Thank you. My name is Ryan Luce. I ultimately am here to serve my community I care deeply about. I was born and raised here in Buhl, graduated from the high school here in '96. Volunteered for helping out on sports. Skills that I have as a small business owner, as a plumber here in our local community. I know the importance of keeping within budget, keeping tasks on schedule, and the importance of communication. I care deeply about this community and would love my grandchildren to grow up in the great community that I had a chance to.
My name is Cortland Runyon, and I mostly want to run for city council to help the citizens of Buhl and their interests. Although I'm not a politician, I'm ready to do my civic duty for the city of Buhl. I feel like we need some new meat in the seat. So I stepped up and willing to take the challenge. My family and I have supported Buhl. I ran a business in Buhl for over 55 years. I support the West End Senior Center as much as I can with their turkey bingos, their ham bingos, and the wrestling, football programs, and any other programs that need supported. I have coached baseball for Filer, Twin Falls, and Buhl High School throughout the years, and I try to support everything that has interest in the best of interest for everyone involved. I graduated from Buhl High School in 2003. I was the FFA secretary, president, and then student advisor. I was the greenhouse manager. I've owned Field 66 here in Buhl for 9.5 years, and I'm looking to be the interest of the citizens and of Buhl, where we grew up.
Thank you. My name is Anita Taji. The reason I want to serve this town really is because I love it here. I love everything about this town. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly it's good. And I think the citizens here are good, right? Like, I love my neighbors. I wish the lights were on so I could see you all, right? Instead of being like blind. But I had a couple of people reach out and say, you know what, I think you'd be really good. And I was like, oh, no, I don't think I really want to do that. And the more I thought about it, was like, why not, right? Like, if not you, then who? And I think it's time for my generation to step up a little bit and serve our community. I've been on the board for the Buhl Public Library for the last few years, and so I'm already quasi-familiar with the city budget. I have experience working with the Idaho Women's Business Center as a program manager until poor Idaho lost the grant. But I mean, we would go into rural communities, rural municipalities and cities and just work with their city leaders to find out what we could do to help their small businesses. And I think it's just time to bring those skills to Buhl. I also have a really, really nerdy bachelor degree in human resource workforce training and development, which means I like the stuff that people don't like. I want to get in the weeds and like SWOT analysis and engage in comprehensive plans and make sure that we have a very strategic, purposeful, lined out plan for things like infrastructure, which we know we need, public safety we know is a need. And all while doing that, while we're preserving that hometown feel, right? So that's me.
Well, good evening. My name is Mark Dowding, and I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I can't see a single one of you, so there might only be one person, but if there is, thank you for coming. It's okay for you to laugh. This has been way too serious. So why am I running? I'm running because I live in Buhl. I have children and grandchildren who live here, and I absolutely love this town. This is hands down the best place I've ever lived in my entire life. I plan to spend the rest of my life here. However many more years God blesses me with, I plan to be here in Buhl. I've sat back for a while and kind of looked into city government from the outside and been dissatisfied. I want to see things from the inside. I want to try to affect change from the inside. I think it's important that the citizens are heard and that they feel like they're heard, like their voices are important. I think that's an important thing, and if I'm elected, I will work hard to make sure that happens. I want to better understand the decisions that are made and why they're made, and so I feel like sitting on the sidelines isn't going to work for me anymore. I need to be a part of the process. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. That was good. So it is hard because we can't see you at all. It'd be nice to have little lights on. So question number 2, can you share an example of a time when you considered all sides of an issue and the differing opinions of a group before making a decision? We'll start on the right here again.
So this is kind of a funny question to me. I've been married for 42 years, and I've raised 5 children to adulthood, and I have listened to all sides of the discussion many, many times. In addition to that, I've been in business for over 50 years, from construction worker to currently I'm an assistant pastor. I've worked on executive boards, management boards, nonprofit boards. I have a real good understanding of what it takes to listen to all sides and to come to a decision. It's a skill that I've developed over many years, supervising, counseling, working with a diverse amount and types of people, and I just think I have a lot to offer in this area.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting question as well. So, same thing. I think that this is just a good human daily practice, right? To make sure that you can gather all of the information, evaluate it, make sure people are heard as the process is going, and make a decision for the greater good that's not based on personal feeling. So a really specific example was 5 years ago, I was tasked with being in charge of the new one-stop shop, the College of Southern Idaho. And if you guys don't know or have never been to CSI, at one point in time, we had student services separated. There was admissions, registration, and financial aid, and they all had very strong leaders and very competent employees. And then one day, Dr. Ward comes in and says, hey, you know what, we're gonna shove them all together, and Anita, you're in charge of it. And we had some very strong personalities and some very strong opinions on who should have what office, who should do what duty, what's best for the college, right? And so there was a lot of, but I've always done this. Yeah, I know, and you're really good at that, but do you think you could do maybe a little bit more for the greater good of the college? And we did it. It's officially a one-stop.
Well, as a father of 4 and a business owner, I see all kinds of sides of everything. I'm in business 5 days a week, full-time dad. So before you can make a decision on anything, you gotta get both sides of it and then make a decision on what is best for the community, or what we are going for, whether it's a personal matter or not. We gotta get through that. Not everybody's gonna get along, so we can get to the end of a solution by working together and not arguing all the time.
So being a plumber, I come across this quite often, especially with husbands and wives, and sometimes it can get pretty intense, where maybe the wife wants this something exotic and way overpriced, and the husband's like, no, porta potty would work just fine. So I deal with that quite often, and in doing that, I also have to make sure that their requirements are all met, and that this is done within codes and standards of the state of Idaho. It's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy communicating with both sides and making sure that all needs are met equally, fairly, and that everybody is happy at the end.
Okay, so a few years ago, I was invited to serve on a community task force to help the Castleford School District rewrite their dress code. As you can imagine, there were many differing and passionate opinions about what that policy should look like. Parents, students, staff, and administrators all brought their own perspectives to the table. Our group contacted other school districts throughout Idaho and reviewed a wide range of policies and spent many hours discussing what would be reasonable and appropriate for our own school district. In the end, we knew we couldn't please everyone, but through respectful discussion and a willingness to really listen, we reached a solid compromise. The new dress code was approved and fit the needs of our school at that time. But more importantly, it showed what can happen when people from different backgrounds come together with open minds and a shared goal. It was a meaningful experience to work side by side with both adults and youth, hearing their ideas and finding common ground. Over the years, my work in both the Castleford and Buhl schools, as well as medical offices and public settings, has given me many opportunities to work with people from all walks of life. Whether it's helping parents navigate a concern, working with patients, or assisting members of the public, I've learned the value of calm, civil conversation and the importance of listening before making decisions. I believe those same skills, patience, teamwork, and a steady approach to problem solving are what our City Council needs to continue to move Buhl forward. If given the opportunity to serve, I hope to bring that same spirit of cooperation and care to the discussion and decisions that will shape our community's future.
Okay, so my day job is the director for Idaho USA Wrestling, the women's director for that. One of the tasks that I have is planning the youth schedule for the entire state. And as you can imagine, each region would prefer to have the best dates and the best venues and make the most money during those youth competitions. And it's kind of our job to listen to everybody's arguments and come up with something that's going to fit everybody's needs, listening to all sides of the stories and listen to everybody's opinions and then come up with a decision that kind of fits everybody. And we always put the kids first. What's in the best interest of the kids and the families that are going to be doing the traveling. If it were up to the Boise area, everything would be in Boise, but that's probably not the fair way to do it. So we try to spread it out as much as possible, and so we deal with that on a daily basis, taking everybody's input and trying to figure out the best situation for the entire state. And it seems to be working. We're growing at a very rapid rate, especially girls wrestling. So I'm very proud of it. So thank you.
You have all gotten nice and comfortable now. Make sure you use all the time on the clock. You're leaving a lot of time on the table, so that's fine. This is an opportunity. Brad, you want to go ahead for the next question, please?
How would you handle disagreements with other council members, the mayor, or members of the public?
So I don't think you have to agree with everybody to respect them. Any disagreements that I've come across, as long as we can be respectful and understand that not everybody agrees with each other, I think that's important. I'm also pretty open-minded when it comes to things. If you can change my mind, it's pretty easy to do sometimes. If you have a good argument, I'm not afraid to listen to other people, and I don't take anything real personal. If it's a good idea, it's a good idea. It doesn't really matter who came up with it. So, as far as disagreements with city council members, I respect all these people just for putting their name in the hat. And I'm sure we will disagree, and that's okay. as long as we do it respectfully and we're civil about it. Like, that's the point, I think. So.
So like we've talked about, disagreements are a natural, and they can even be a healthy part of life. Each of us comes with our own experience, values, and perspectives, so of course we're going to see things differently. The goal isn't to avoid disagreement, but to handle them in a way that's respectful and productive and focused on solutions. When serving on a council or in any other group that makes decisions, I believe it's important to remember that all are ultimately working toward the same goals. That shared purpose should guide every discussion, even when we don't agree. I believe we have more in common than we think. I'll work to bring people together by listening first, showing respect for all viewpoints, and focusing on shared goals. In my own experience, I've learned that listening first makes all the difference. People want to be heard and understood. Even if their idea isn't the one that's chosen, they appreciate knowing that their voice mattered. Of course, not every decision will please everyone, and that's just reality. But what does matter is that people can trust the process, that they know their input is valued, that these decisions were made thoughtfully, and that everyone was treated with respect. My goal is to counsel together, to listen carefully and consider all sides, and to focus on what will strengthen our town, and then move forward as a collective unit in support of whatever decisions were made. That's what good teams do. Buhl is a special place, and I believe that I can contribute to help make decisions that reflect both common sense and the common good.
I would handle disagreements by staying professional and being respectful, listening to both sides, and avoiding personal attacks and sarcasm. During any disagreement, there's always going to be shared goals, so try to focus on the shared goals to accomplish whatever needs to be done. By using evidence and facts, relevant data, reports, and communication with the community. Most important, it is always to know when to compromise. We're not always going to get what we want, but compromise is great. If you can stay on task and still complete the goal, compromise in a disagreement is the ultimate goal.
So first of all, handling disagreements with council members and members of the public is to be respectful, professional, and get to the bottom of things without arguments and broken camaraderie against our own, the city of Buhl. If I get elected, I want to bring the city of Buhl back to the old hometown where we were raised and listen to our community as a whole to get things changed that need to be changed. There's so much hatred on social media right now that it's crazy how much people can talk about each other. So to handle it, we've got to look at both sides of the story and then be professional and honest and ethical and fix the problem.
Well, I think it's really important that we have courageous conversations. I think that it's really important for us to be able to respect each other and understand and really hear the other person's point of view, right? Like, what is it that you're really upset about? Why is there a conflict? And I think that starts with listening, right? And not listening to respond, but listening to understand. And I think that there's a huge difference. When we listen to understand, then we can really get to the root of what the problem is and try to find a common solution. You know, I mentioned at the beginning, like, you're all my neighbors, right? We all live in the same place. We all live in the same place. We probably all want some common themes, right? I want my toilets to flush. Thank you. I want my water to run. I want public safety. I would really love my potholes to be filled. That'd be cool. Like, who doesn't want that? So I think that when we really listen and understand each other and find those common grounds, that's something we can build on. You know, and in those courageous conversations, don't tell my husband, but I'm not always right, right? Like, I can be wrong, or I can be convinced to see a different side. So it just comes down to listening to understand and respect. Don't tell my husband.
So how would I handle disagreements with council members, mayor, and community? Well, first of all, I wouldn't censure them. Like Kathy and Anita, I believe that disagreements are healthy. Disagreements are an important part of life. We can't live life as individual people working together in a community without disagreeing. The way to get around disagreements and to bring agreement into the community and into the government is by listening to people. In our society, we listen in order to respond. When someone is talking to us, typically, we're already formulating our response to them in our mind before they're even done talking. That's a bad way to handle disagreements. It's important that you have someone who can remain calm under pressure, who can seek to understand all the parties involved, and then bring them together into some sort of an agreement. And again, not everyone is going to agree, but that's okay if everyone is heard. When people feel like they're being heard, they are much more comfortable with disagreements. This is a skill that I have developed over many, many years. I have a knack for remaining calm under pressure. I have a knack for calming down others in tense situations. And boy, I just will bring all of my skills and experience to bear in this area in particular if I'm elected to the council.
Question number 4. What local priorities do you have in mind for the city of Buhl?
So the priorities I have, I'm not going to take nearly my full 2 minutes on many of these things. The priorities I have are transparent, accountable, limited government. I want to see the community input listened to and acted on. I want to create forums for the community to be heard. I would like to address the aging infrastructure that exists in our community. Water, roads, sidewalks, parks. We're running up against an aging infrastructure that needs to be addressed, and I would like to work on getting those things addressed. I would like to address issues that are important, the hot button issues that everybody knows about, the trailer ordinance, the pool being filled. I think these are important things and the community wants and needs to be heard on those things. And so that's where I would start, and then I would continue by listening to the people. I don't think there's any other way for government to operate.
Well, I think I mentioned before, I'm a huge nerd, so the first thing I would like to do is to jump into that comprehensive plan and help build the strategic plan for Buhl moving forward to address aging infrastructure, public safety, responsible economic growth. That's really where I kind of thrive. Another thing I really want to jump into, which I don't think we've heard too much about tonight, is I really want to do a deep dive analysis on the low wages of the city. So I don't have any concrete evidence, but I have a hunch that low wages contribute to low applications at places like the pool and the library. And so it's affecting our city's workforce. And I just don't understand enough about the past or what we can do in the future. But, you know, when you can go to work at McDonald's for $13 an hour and flip burgers, maybe you'll do that instead of shelf library books. Like everybody else, right? We all grew up in a pool. We all want our kids to go to the pool. We want it open, and so working with our city leaders that are already established, in our departments that are already tasked with those things, to help make sure that we can get qualified applicants in early enough to get them trained to get that pool going.
So some local priorities that I can see is obviously Buhl, that kind of stuff. I think Buhl needs a rec department because that will bring in some extra funds that we do not have. And we've tried to get it passed in the past, but it always gets knocked down. I was part of that committee that was trying to go for the rec department, and I believe that that is a strong point that Buhl needs. Every other town has one. It doesn't just help the pool, it helps youth organizations, senior organizations. It's not just for the kids, it's for the whole community. We don't need a whole rec center, but we need a rec department that we can get additional state funds that we do not have for the city of Buhl. So if that's one huge thing. And then obviously there's some amendments that need to happen to the city codes. We need to go through them, make some amendments. Let's fix all them issues. Let's get the pool filled.
A few local priorities that I have is, of course, the pool. I have a lot of ties to that pool. My mother worked there. Me and my sister worked there. My children have both worked there. I know the importance that it brings to the community of the youth, how important it is for them to have that activity over the summer. I've reached out to some people already and looking for maybe some donations and such to fix some of the infrastructure that's wrong on the pool. Another thing that's important to me and other tradesmen that work here locally is the trailer, the parking of the trailers on city streets. That definitely needs to be amended and use common sense. I understand why it was first put in there, but there needs to be amendments to where, you can work all day and not get a ticket and go home. The upkeep of the parks, I think some of the parks have started to fail a little bit. And to me, that's very important because other people that come to this community are usually going to some of the local parks around here. And, if the grass isn't very well maintained or there's lots of weeds, that doesn't speak highly of this great community. And speaking with a lot of my customers over the last couple of weeks, potholes in roads come up all the time. I guess I just didn't really pay attention and notice them as much, but maybe getting a few of those filled too.
I would love to see Buhl continue to flourish with good, strong families, individuals, and businesses. I've often thought of Buhl as the Radiator Springs of Idaho, like the town in the movie Cars. It was built upon Highway 30, historic Highway 30, and for years, everyone passed through this thriving gem of a community. When the interstate came through, things shifted a bit, but the heart never left. The spirit that built this town, hard work, family, faith, and community, still runs deep here. My vision is to help bring some of that energy and pride back to our downtown. I'd love to see every empty storefront continue to be filled with creative entrepreneurs who love this place and who want to build something lasting. I've also traveled in a third world country that did not enjoy the benefits of safe running water, flushable toilets, and sanitation. These everyday luxuries should not be taken for granted. At the same time, we need to keep our focus on other things that are important to you, our citizens. Things like keeping our neighborhoods safe and clean, keeping the pool and parks open and well maintained, keeping a balanced budget and creating opportunities for both our youth and seniors. We also need to focus on good, strong code, enforcing what we have if it's solid, and rewriting what we need to as necessary. Fiscal responsibility and being good stewards of our budget is a priority. And to make that happen, we have to cooperate. If I have the opportunity of serving Buhl in this capacity, that's the spirit I want to bring. I believe that when we counsel together, then get busy and work together, we can continue building a bright and united future for Buhl.
The local priorities that I have in mind for Buhl that I'd like to see improved is, I think we've done a good job of making Buhl more walkable, more drivable, but I think there's still some city sidewalks that we can address that I'd really like to see more people out and about in our community. Probably the biggest thing I'd like to see is more communication with our community, finding out what they would want our community to look like, what that responsible growth looks like without losing what we love about Buhl. So, like I said before, I love Buhl. I love growing up in Buhl, and I'd like to continue to keep this special place special. So, that's what I would like to see. 1 minute.
So question number 5 says, how do you plan on communicating with the citizens of Buhl if you get this office?
So I'm pretty involved in the community as it is. I plan on continuing to be involved. Talk to a lot of different people from all different walks of life, whether it's we try to do a lot of community outreach with our wrestling program and talk to elderly disabled people and break their leaves, and it's just an opportunity to be present in our community. I'll continue to do that, and I talk to a lot of parents on a daily basis. I think that's probably the easiest way for me to communicate is I'm out in the community every day, and if anybody has any conversations they want to have, I'm pretty much an open book. Like, you can come talk to me. It's pretty easy to get a hold of me.
I think that communication is the heart of good leadership, and if we want Buhl to thrive, we have to be able to talk openly and honestly with one another. My goal is to keep the lines of communication open so that every resident feels comfortable reaching out, and I'll be available to do that. Whether it's to share an idea, voice a concern, or offer a suggestion, I want people to know that they can be heard. Real progress comes from respectful dialogue. It means asking good questions and being open to viewpoints, having the humility to accept outcomes that may not be exactly what I hoped for, but serve the good of the community. And I think sometimes good communication also requires a little grace and forgiveness on both sides. We're all human, we all make mistakes, but we need to recognize that everyone is just, at the end of the day, just trying to do the best they can. I think that trust grows when people feel heard and included, and I plan to strengthen transparency by sharing information early, listening with genuine intent, and explaining not just what decisions are made, but why. My goal is to build open two-way communication with our community so that you can feel informed, valued, and confident in the decisions that are made locally. I want to be the kind of council member who listens first, speaks kindly, works together with others, and helps find real solutions that will last.
My plan on communicating with the local citizens is first of all, foremost, respect. I go into a lot of customers, citizens of Buhl every day's house and listens to their needs and wants on a daily basis. And I can understand a lot of them. I'd like to tell them if I get elected why I voted in certain ways. I know that there's not a lot of communication right now as far as who voted for what and why they voted for it. I would like to see that, at each council meeting that there's a session to explain why certain council members voted a certain way. And it just all boils down to respect. We all live in this great community for a reason. I want to, we have the opportunity right now with all this growth. It is very critical that we listen to each and every one of the citizens so that we can grow, prosper, and be one of the greatest small communities here in southern Idaho.
So I've been thinking about this communication stuff, and we got to communicate with everybody in the city. So young, old. So maybe having the minutes of the meeting posted at the senior center. People that can't make it, maybe they can write into the council and ask for minutes of the meeting to be mailed to them. The people that can't make it, we can either do Zoom, YouTube, Facebook Live for all the our age, our generation. But as for the senior population, they like it. So they like to read it in their hand, and they like to save it. So maybe we can work towards something that we can all communicate through the whole city, by taking care of everybody. And obviously, we got to be respectful when we do this and take everybody's point of view into account. So I think even the West End wrap-up, maybe have a page in there that we can put the minutes in every, because they come out twice a month, so that would be perfect. Even if it's just a screenshot or whatever, we can at least get something in paper and on video so that everybody in town feels like they have been to the meeting, even though they haven't. And then just be transparent, make sure they can get a hold of us, email, phone number, address. They know where we live. We're all in the same community together, so let's go Buhl.
Cortland just took all of my answers and added some. I think it's really important for us to have open door communications. If you're online, then you hear it, you feel it. That there's some shady things going on in the city, and I think in part that's allowed to happen because when you have a lack of information, it creates spaces for rumors. And then rumors can sadly become reality. And that, in a sense, I feel like has created a rift in the trust between our citizens and the city. And I want that to stop. I want to be able to live stream the city council meetings. And I understand that we're working on technology now to be able to do that. So we're already heading in that direction. And so that's really promising, whether I get elected or not. And then two, I think that there's room for the city to just celebrate their wins. They do so many good things. And I think that needs to be celebrated. I think that we need to share the space with the citizens of Buhl and meet you where you are. Meet us where we are, whether it's online or publishing them in the West End wrap-up. I went and sat and had lunch at the Senior Citizen Center today and found out so many needs that I would have never even thought about just by sitting down and having a conversation and saying, hi. I want you to ask me questions. I want you to know where I'm coming from and why I vote a certain way. So those three things, right? That's going to help our communication.
So I'm going to jump on the live stream bandwagon. I really think that's something that we need to implement. so that everyone can see, not just read, but see what happens in the city council meetings. Even if they're not able to see it live, they can go online and view it later. So I'm going to, if I'm elected, push really hard to make that happen. I also think that as far as communicating with me personally, I'm available. I'm here. You can find me 6 days a week at Buhl Bible Church. I'll go out and have coffee with you. I'll share you my phone number, my email address. You can reach out to me by phone, by email. You can stop by the church and say, hey, can we chat? I'm here. I want to hear from the people. I think that we can do a better job of using social media effectively, and I would like to see that happen. I'd like to see people be able to, and I know the difficulties with this, but I'd like to be able to see people comment on the posts coming from the city. I know that's difficult. I know people get angry and words get said, and it's easy to be a keyboard warrior, but I don't think that's a reason not to do it. That's an avenue for citizens to comment, and I would like to see that happen. And then, like I said, just be present in the community. You find me at the parade and at Sagebrush Days, and I'm part of this community. I'm all over the place. Anybody wants to talk to me anytime, just reach out and I'll be there.
Okay, for the last question, we've got a bit of a challenge with the house lights being so low. We're going to encourage you to share how the public here tonight can communicate with you. We might want to wait until we get the house lights up to be able to do that, so if they want to jot that down, they can. So we're looking here at the last question. Will you please take 2 minutes and share any thoughts or things that you would like the public to know about you in your closing statement?
So I have to tell you that my life is deeply informed by my Christian faith. I'm not a politician. I don't know very much about politics, and 6 months ago, if you had said you're going to be running for city council, I would have said you're crazy. I'm far from perfect, but I believe strongly in servant leadership. My leadership statement has always been, don't ask people to do something you wouldn't do yourself. Throughout Jesus' ministry, his disciples would occasionally argue over who was going to be the greatest in his kingdom. And in Matthew 20, he tells them, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who are great exercise authority over them. Yet it shall not be so with you. Whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. So that's what I'm about. I want to be a servant. And what does that mean for you? It means that I'm not out to make a name for myself. I've got nothing to prove. I'm simply here to serve the very best way I can. I'm one of you, an average citizen of Buhl, and I will do my very best to serve the entire community.
Well, that's hard to follow. And I really just want to say thank you, everybody that came out tonight. This is critical for our community. I might be wrong, but this might be the most well-attended forum that Buhl's had in a very long time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's quite a few out there. So, thank you everybody for coming. Same. I'm not a politician. I just feel this strong sense of responsibility to serve. And so here's the reality of my life and where I'm going to be on November 5th, right? The day after the election. I'm still going to be your neighbor. I'm still going to protect our sweet little library. I'm still going to be around, the schools. I have a freshman and my granddaughter is a kindergartner at Buhl. And looking at this panel, I'm pretty sure I can trust the hands of our city into whoever gets elected. So either way, I'll be around.
So if I get elected, what I want to do bring the city of Buhl back to the hometown that we grew up in. Just with everybody here, I think our intentions are to bring the city together and make the best decisions that we can for you. I don't sponsor censorship, so let's get along. Let's fix the issues. I do own Field 66 in Buhl, so I see a ton of people every day. If you have questions, come to me. My phone number is everywhere. Email. I'll be outside. We can shake hands, and pretty much most of you know me. So I appreciate all of you guys coming. It is a great turnout for the 50 that I can see. But thank you all again, because we need you.
I'd like to also thank everybody that showed up today. As I said earlier, I was born and raised here in Buhl. I've served in a lot of different roles in the community. 3 days after I graduated high school in '96, I went into the United States Marine Corps, where I served our country for 4 years and got out. After the attacks of 9/11, I volunteered and went back in for almost another 2 years. I just think that this is one of the greatest communities around. I've traveled to a lot of different places, lived in a few other places while I was going to school and in the Marine Corps. And ultimately, this is the place where I wanted to raise my children. And I would just like to help out and make sure that each and everybody has the same feeling about Buhl, and that the youth can take pride in this town and go out and see the world, and then realize that, hey, they're missing something and want to come back here and raise a family in this great community.
I have a friend who does workshops for both youth and young adults, and she uses an activity where she sends them out into the parking lot and she asks them to count all the black cars. And then when they come back in, she says, "How many red cars did you see?" Well, of course, most of them didn't even notice the red cars because they were focused on the black ones. Then she makes the point that there will always be darkness and negativity in our world. And if that's what we're looking for, that's all we'll see. But there is also light and goodness all around us if we take the time to look for it. And we do here in Buhl. That message stayed with me. I try to approach life the same way, to look for the good and to focus on what's working and to be grateful. I've always tried to just serve, whether that's helping a neighbor, supporting our youth, or volunteering in the community. Here's an acronym for how I see Buhl. B, belonging, budgets, and balance. U, unity, understanding, and uplift. H, heritage, hope, and hard work. L, leadership, listening, and longevity. There is so much good here, and we just need to look for it and continue to find it. I am very grateful to this group here tonight, and I'm grateful to be a part of this evening. I thank Rob, Brent, and Brad, and I thank each one of you for being involved and showing interest in our community. I thank Alyssa. Also, she has a website, the Buhl Election Hub, that you can find more information about each one of us, and also our contact information, phone numbers, and emails. I would be grateful for your vote on November 4th and have a chance to serve Buhl with this same optimism, gratitude, and love that I have for this community and the way I've patterned my life. Thank you.
First off, I just say thanks for showing up. I want to remind everybody that we are all on the same team here. We all want what's best for Buhl. For me, I find myself, the best version of myself is when I'm serving other people. I've done that for most of my life. Being born and raised in Buhl, when I was 15 and moved away, I thought I would never come back. This place was way too small and boring. But after living in a couple different places, I've always considered Buhl my hometown. And I still get butterflies when I've been gone for a couple days and I come back into Buhl. I don't know if anybody else gets that, but whenever I'm driving into Buhl, I'm like, this is my home. And it's something that I'm proud of. I tell all the kids that I coach that they're special because they come from Buhl. And that's not necessarily true. They're special because of the way that they've been raised. They're special because Buhl is unique. There's a toughness about Buhl, people that come from Buhl. But there's also a generosity that neighbors help neighbors. It's just a special place to live, and I'd like to continue to keep it special. So yeah, I'm very impressed with everybody that's running for city council, and I don't think you can make a wrong choice. Just get out and vote.
Would you all please join us in a round of applause for all the candidates? And would you also give the Chamber of Commerce and Buhl High School a round of applause? Well, thank you all for coming out this evening. Please hang around, stick around. We'll have the candidates down here in front. You come down and visit, ask any questions that you'd like, and they can share their contact information with you. Thank you all so much for being here. God bless. Thank you.